to talk about reflection and rotation today. We're going to go at quite a pace. So here we're looking to reflect this shape here across this axis. So we need to flip it and rotate it and have a mirror image on this side. And we can use some tracing paper. And here's one I prepared earlier. It's really important to be thinking about the vertices. This vertex here, for example, is 2 squares away from the axis. So when it's reflected, it would need to be there. This axis would need to be 5 squares away. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that axis. So you could do it without tracing paper, couldn't you? You could do something like that and carry on like that. But with the tracing paper, you must go over the axis because you're going to flip and use that line, and then do a nice thick line. Don't need a ruler when you're doing that part. And then flip it over. Very important to line the axis up again. Check that the vertices 1, 2, 1, 2 are in the right place. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you shade over, and that leaves a print. And then you would use your ruler there. Be very careful to be marking exactly where the vertices go into the intersections on the grid, and you would create your reflection like that. Okay, we'll leave it there for now. This one down here might look a little bit trickier because this line isn't perpendicular to the way we're sat, it's more oblique. You could just turn it around like that so it's more perpendicular to the way you are sitting. Again, we can reflect using tracing paper, and we're looking at these vertices. This vertex, for example, is 1, 2 and a half, so it will be half, 1 and a half, 2 and a half, so it's going to be about there. Well, not about there, exactly there actually, it's important. That's right on the intersection of the grid, and this one needs to be as well. Same thing, I've already traced the shape, I reflect it and flip, and we said that vertex would be there, didn't we? That's not looking quite right. Let's get that nicely in line so all our vertices are in the correct position on the grid. Shade it across to get the imprint from there, and then you can see you could go over that carefully with your ruler. On the second page here we have rotations, and that's when things are turning. They are rotating, and we're going to be rotating and turning clockwise, and we're going to do each of these shapes a 90-degree rotation clockwise. So looking at this one up here, we're going to rotate around a particular point, point A. Now in this example, this quadrilateral, the rotation point is actually part of the shape itself. If we think about, if I get a nice green pen, you don't have to do this necessarily, but it's one way of thinking about it. You've got a line here, and you're going to rotate 90 degrees. That's an easy one, isn't it? You could do that without a protractor. But that's going to go onto this line here. So, really quite easy. You've got a 90-degree turn here. This vertex here is 1, 2, 3 squares. 1, 2, 3. So that vertex is going to go to there, and we can have that as a little guide. And now, if I trace over, I'm not flipping this time, but I'm going to try and hold on point A and rotate round 90 degrees. And it's really important again, look, these vertices are exactly on the intersection. Some children sometimes end up putting their vertices in the middle of the squares. That's not correct. So I'm going to rotate that again. Let's get that lined up. I'm going to rotate, lining that vertex up with the cross that I put before. That's correct. And I can't scribble over it. I need to just see 1, 2, 3 and up 2. So that's my first point. 1, 2, 3, up 2. Let's just check that's the correct position. This one's up 2 across 1. Up 2 across 1. And that's enough. You would use a ruler. I'm just going to do this for speed. And we can see the shape has rotated by 90 degrees. In this final example, this one down here, it's another quadrilateral. The rotation point A is not part of the shape this time. We can still do similar things. I'm going to draw another just quick guide here, a 90-degree turn, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. This vertex is 4 up, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that might help. So when I do my rotation, Okay, I've traced it already. I'm going to rotate it round. Let's label that as vertex B until B goes down onto that cross. Okay, I'm just going to shuffle it around just to make sure that vertex is exactly in that. Yeah, that looks about right. So this vertex is up 1 across 2, up 1 across 2. This vertex is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1. And this vertex is across 3 up 1. And then you would quickly join those vertices to create the shape. I'm just going to check that again.